Gobble, 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 recteq family. It's that time of year. We're showing you how we do turkeys around here. It's Turkey 101. So when I buy my turkeys, I don't mind a frozen turkey, okay? But what I do is I tend to thaw it in the bag when I'm thawing my turkey because most turkeys are already pre-basted or pre-brined. And on the label, when you're buying your turkey, whether it's fresh or frozen, take a look. This label here says basted with 9.5% solution of turkey broth, salt, sodium phosphate. Phosphate's that key word, sugar and flavorings. That's a brine, okay? This turkey is pre-brined, but there's only salt and sugar in there. So we have some opportunity for improvement, but not all turkeys are created equal. So keep in mind, the higher that percentage, the more moisture and more pre-tenderized that turkey is, AKA really hard to overcook. So if you've got a wild turkey or maybe a fresh free-range turkey that you picked up at your local farmer, there's no solution in there. So you have endless opportunities to add more flavor. All right, so we're gonna take all of the insides out of this turkey. Now, this has been in the fridge for about 3 days. Still a little icy on the inside, not a big deal. We've got the turkey neck. We will roast that off for some stock. Again, we're gonna spatchcock. So the little handle or harness here, we're just gonna pull that back and remove it inside of there. It's not too bad. Just kind of get your hands in there and rip it off. And then the most irrelevant piece that they add in here is this pop-up timer. So there is a little sort of a temperature sensor here. When this breaks, this pops up, but by then your turkey is way overcooked. So rule number one, get that right in the trash. That's the only place it belongs. On the top side of your turkey, typically under the extra skin around the neck, is gonna be a bag with your giblets and maybe like some other little goodies. Make sure you remove that, okay? Now you can smoke those, chop them off, add them into your gravy. It'd be really good. When I spatchcock the turkey, I like using a knife, but you can use shears. It's really whatever you like. I also do it on a cutting board inside of a baking sheet. That way I don't get any turkey juice anywhere, and it makes cleanup a breeze. But if you're never spatchcocked a turkey before, you're basically cutting out the backbone of the turkey, which is right here. You can kind of see it's a little bit darker. I like to give myself a guide. I take a knife and just kind of score where I want to be. And if you look at the back side of the turkey, there's like this last part over the fence. Okay, we're going to remove that whole piece. I like to stand it up. And again, you can do this with shears or a knife. It's really up to you. And I take that knife and I go straight down that backbone. Just like that. Okay, we'll move that knife to the other side. And we do this before we brine. That way it gives me an opportunity to take this backbone, grill it off, and I'll take the neck and the backbone and go ahead and make my turkey stock now. And that way I've got my gravy on a head start. That's a turkey tip for you. Next, on the keel bone is in between that breastplate. You take your knife and just make a little notch, and that way that'll kind of crack right there, and our spatchcocked turkey is done. Now again, I thawed this out 3 days ago. That doesn't mean there's not still ice crystals on the inside, because at the end of the day, this big old turkey is kind of like a bowling ball. If there's any random fat pockets or kind of gobbly goo on the inside, you can definitely remove that. Okay, now you can see this turkey when we spatchcock it. We'll lay flat. I do like to straighten out the legs a little bit. And the benefit to spatchcocking is if you look, now the breast meat is twice as thick as the leg and thigh, which means this is gonna overcook and get closer to 185 degrees internal. That's what we want, leaving that breast meat to about 165 degrees. I like my turkey to go to the beach, so I flip the wingtips back. Okay, perfect. Now on to the brine. All right, we've really taken the guesswork out of the holidays because we created the holiday celebrations brine, rub, and pellets, maximizing flavor and convenience for you. This brine is great for 1 gallon of liquid. Now, having said that, if your turkey is containing a higher percentage of solution, you can kind of dilute this a little bit. So for me, I'm doing 1.5 gallons of water to 1 bottle of the savory brine. This contains all the salt, herbs, and spices that you are going to need to create a delicious brine. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely steep this in some hot water and then add enough ice to bring the volume up. What you don't want to do is have hot brine and a cold bird. Okay, make sure your brine liquid is as close to 40 degrees as possible, because this bad boy is gonna take a bath in this brine in the fridge for about 1 pound an hour. You can go a little bit longer than that, you can go a little bit shorter than that. If you don't have a big bucket like I have today, you can definitely use a brine bag inside of a cooler, okay? But you can see right here, we've got plenty of room for that turkey. Now I could put a plate over the top and help get those legs and thighs down below, but that is looking pretty darn perfect. I'm gonna put a lid on this, stick this back in the fridge. Now this bird was like 18 pounds. So definitely good for, you could do a 24-hour brine on here, but what's gonna happen now is all of that delicious herbs, salt, and flavor via osmosis, because it's science, right, is gonna pull some of that salty liquid out of that turkey and then pull more of that flavorful liquid back inside of that bird for perfection. All right, here's a chef tip for you. To prevent cross-contamination on all of your seasonings, go ahead and take an extra glove and put it over the top. That way, if you grab the bottle and you kind of got a little gobbledygook on your hands, you're not gonna get it on the bottle and we can still be friends. We'll talk about the savory rub in a second. But after this turkey is done brining, I like to put it on a rack, okay? And that way I can get some of the excess brine off of the bird and start to dry the skin, because moisture is the enemy of crispy. And I don't need to dry the bird, I don't need to rinse the bird. I don't mind some of the herbs on there to give extra flavor onto that turkey. And again, I got a turkey hand. We got that seasoning here. The internet's not gonna yell at me for cross-contaminating. All right, so before we pick that bird up, we're gonna let this rest for right about 10 minutes, let all that seasoning sort of dilute in here and be good. Now onto the brine. You cannot reuse this. Do not put this back in the fridge. Do not put another turkey in here. Okay, this gets disposed, this container gets washed. We're not trying to make anybody sick, so never under any circumstance reuse your brine. All right, it's time to flip that bird. We'll go ahead and grab those legs, flip it over on the rack. Okay, now we're gonna hit this with that savory rub on the top. We've done the hard work here. That rub's got some salt, pepper, garlic, onion, sage, ginger, paprika, lemon peel, butter powder, and some Tuscan herbs. It's gonna give great color and flavor in here. Now at this point, this goes back in the fridge overnight, uncovered. Again, that's gonna give us a nice golden brown, crispy skin, because for me, the best part about Thanksgiving is carving the turkey and eating all of the skin. And putting this in the fridge overnight is gonna help give us successful, crispy skin. The holiday celebration pellets is a fantastic mix of maple, hickory, and cherry. And honestly, that's gonna optimize this turkey cook. We've removed one of those shelves in that flagship 1600 to accommodate this really large bird, okay? But if I slide it to one side, I could definitely fit 2 big birds. Now this is an 18-pound turkey. I could put that shelf on now and get all my sides going. That flagship absolutely hammered this cook. Turkey removal tips. Now the only thing connecting the leg and thigh to that breast is a little flap of skin. So I like to get 2 spatulas and that BFS and cradle that bird all the way to the cutting board. Whoop. Look at that. To slice this bird, it couldn't be any easier. You got that leg and thigh, it's only connected by a piece of skin. How easy was that? We'll come back to that one. I love to remove the breast and slice it alongside. That way you get better slices along the grain of the meat. So I take one knife cut and I go right down the breastplate. I cut across the wingtip right here. Okay, and you can essentially just kind of push that breast meat off, just like that, okay? Now I'll take that slicer and you can get that perfect sliced turkey. Woo, child, please. And if the skin comes off, don't worry, just like Picasso it back on there, like it was never gone. But look at how moist and juicy that bird is. Now you got a nice pinking. That's from the smoke flavor. That's wood. This turkey is done, trust me. Look at how juicy this bird is. Okay, that brine does magic, people. All right, I've got to carve up the rest of this turkey. We got sides rolling. Make sure you guys check out recteq.com this holiday season for all of our amazing specials. We'll see you at the recteq.